The following program is brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization.
Welcome to Art and Soul, where I interview creative professionals on how they found their calling and what they're doing now. I'm your host, Trina Fallon. Tonight's guest is Jennifer Lander of Jennifer Lander Photography. She is a photographer, filmmaker, graphic artist, and an entrepreneur. But I wanted to ask you, how was your journey to this point?
Well, basically, I met Chris Lato in 2010, and he was a hobbyist filmmaker, I guess you could say. Started dabbling in it, and he had made a short, and then decided when I met him, he was just deciding to make that into a full-length film. And so when I met him, it was kind of one of those things where he wasn't sure if he wanted to continue doing filmmaking, because it can be discouraging sometimes, especially when you're not making any money at it. And when I met him, being a creative person my whole life, I encouraged him to keep doing it. And so in turn, he encouraged me to tap into my creative side, which kind of was lying dormant for a while, and I hadn't really done much with my creativity. Right. So basically, then I got into graphic design. I taught myself how to do graphic design, and little by little, and then I considered myself a freelance graphic artist, and made a little bit, enough to make ends meet here and there. But that's pretty much how it kind of led into. With the filmmaking, I slowly worked my way into it as well, and I really started to enjoy it, and I really, as a matter of fact, I think I kind of like the directing aspect of it best, as far from my standpoint, something that I enjoy doing, which also plays right into my photography.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I have to direct my subjects.
Oh, yeah.
To get to get them to pose, or, to do what I need them to do for the photos. So they kind of go hand in hand, and I enjoy that part of it. And so having all of the equipment through the filmmaking, cameras, lenses, and all that, I started toying around with it, because I always wanted to do photography as a hobby, but I never could afford the camera or anything like that. So I just never really went into any thought. I never put a lot of thought into it.
Right.
So a friend of mine who is also a filmmaker, producer, I met her through some of the films that we were doing, and we talked a little, and we got to know each other a little bit, and so she asked me if I would be interested in doing some product photography for her. And
how did you meet her?
We met through a mutual filmmaker acquaintance, friend, I guess you could say, and she was putting together a film, and another filmmaker suggested that we meet, that it might be a good connection for us. And so, we've done a little bit with her, a little bit of work. We did a short with her not too long ago, called 7 Stages of Love.
Oh, nice.
Which was a romantic comedy, and Chris his thing is horror film, is what he kind of started at.
Yes, I know, it is.
So, that's Reaper Films. And, we have a lot of fun with that. But, of course, I want to do other things, too. And so we started Innovative Films. That was my idea, because then it covered everything else.
Much nicer than Reaper Films.
Yeah. So it covers everything other than the horror film genre. So that's kind of what we do with that. But anyway, so I met her, and she asked me if I'd be interested in doing some photos. I guess she took a look at some of my work.
Right.
Not really work, but photos on
some
my Facebook.
Some of your photos, right.
Yeah, just through Facebook, and said, you kind of have an eye for it. Have you ever thought about doing it for a career? And I'm like, not really. And so she knew I was struggling a little bit financially, and, to make ends meet, sometimes as a freelance artist, you're starving, and sometimes you're doing really well, and sometimes you're not. So basically, I did this shoot for her, and we had a lot of fun. We set everything up. It was craftsy, and it was fun, and I enjoyed it, and I thought, wow.
So what did you enjoy about it?
I don't know. I don't know if I have that answer. you know, you have to get the lighting right. Just like filmmaking, you have to get the lighting just right. You have to light your subject, whether it's an apple or a person.
Right.
There has to be enough light, and it can't be too much light on this spot, you know, and not enough on this spot. So the whole aspect of getting everything set up and to look good in the camera.
Right.
And that's all that it, you know, it's funny because I found in photography sometimes making somebody, you know, lean over and put their head in an awkward position, it looks one way on the camera, but it looks different in person.
Yeah.
And I have to encourage them, just do it. Trust me. It's going to feel weird.
Just turn your head.
Just turn
like
your
an
head
owl.
like this and look. And then I bring it over and like, see? And they're like, oh, wow, it does look really good. Oh, my gosh. I never thought that would look good. So, you know, but anyway, setting it up, getting things right, and then seeing the final product. I have to say, if I ever got involved in photography when it was film, I would never have lasted 1 minute. The OCD, ADHD, whatever it is in me, that I have to see it right then and know that it's perfect.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I would never
So
have
back
lasted.
when you had to have, when you had to develop the film, should have been like, I'm not.
Yeah,
not
but I
happening.
would never have lasted. So thank goodness for technology and digital cameras.
You know, I'll be honest with you. When I was in 8th grade in Ramstein, Germany, I took a photography class, and it was traditional photography. It's 35 millimeter photography. I had learned how to use a black room in a dark room and everything. And to me, that's more exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting for me to run around with this camera and think I'm getting this shot. And I like candid photos. If you've ever looked at my husband hates it. My family hates it. Imagine that.
Well, you have to, for me, I cannot pose for a photo. I will not pose for a photo.
I'm
can't
the
stand
same
it.
way.
Catch me candid, you'll get a nice smile.
Yeah.
And that's the only ones I ever like. Ever.
So, and I like candid photos of me. Yeah, because sometimes, I don't know. In any case, I like the candid photo. So I'd like to just take it and then I'd go develop it. And it was like Christmas, like 22 times in a row. It was so much fun.
Well, put it this way. I still have cameras from when my 19-year-old daughter was a baby that I never developed.
You mean rolls of film?
Yes.
Oh.
Like the disposable cameras
You
and
still
stuff
have
like that.
disposable cameras.
Can we
Christina,
let's
can we-
rewind that.
Christina, can we get on that? You think you can help a girl out? I'm just saying, you know.
He doesn't know. That's my secret. It's out there now. The whole world knows that I have this.
Sweetheart, let me tell you something. At my wedding, we just thought this was great. Oh, this is such a great idea. I don't know if it was, but we thought it was. We bought 20 disposable cameras, and we set them on the table. And one of the guests, and I hope you're watching the show, took pictures of the toilets
Oh.
to show that they were clean.
Oh, I was going to say.
No, I knew it was. It was my neighbor. I hope you're watching this. But anyway, I mean, but I still have, I still find disposable cameras, and I thought I had them all developed. So I don't know. I got to go get those done. But I had most of them done. But that is, I mean, I liked it. I liked that part. Now, one question I had was, when did you realize you wanted to, I mean, after, so you got that gig, and then you did the commercial photography, and then what happened?
Then I kind of started, I don't even know where I went from there. It sounds silly that I don't remember, but it wasn't that long ago. But for some reason, then I really started thinking seriously about it.
Okay.
I thought, maybe I should do this. And so I thought, I'm going to have to do a lot of free stuff, and I've got some learning to do. I didn't know everything about the cameras. It was literally like, oh, I've got a nice camera. Let's go outside and take a picture of this flower. And it came out amazing. It was stunning. I have this one. It's still on my business card. I should have brought it to show you. It's over there in my purse. But anyway, a bee happened to land on the flower as I was taking the photo. And
It's a sign!
it was one of the most fabulous photos I ever took. And so
Wow.
just the love of that part of it, like seeing it and the clarity and the sharpness of the photo and how pretty it was. And so I really enjoyed it. And I took a few of my kids and, here and there. And then I started to, I don't know if I put a Craigslist ad up or what happened or somebody. And then so I did a couple free gigs here and there, not many though. Mm-hmm. In all honesty, I really didn't do many. I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll just charge a little bit so that I'm making something while I'm building a portfolio. Next thing you know, right now, I think it's because I'm so overwhelmed with the fact that I get a lot of word of mouth and things like that I stay pretty busy. I stay very, very busy. And I'm a successful photographer, but I wouldn't consider myself a rich one. But I started out charging just a little bit so that I've built a portfolio. I've got a portfolio and then some.
Right.
And I love every bit of it. Like, I
Right.
just love it. I love being able to take photos of whether it's headshots, family, a baby turning 1, a newborn. It's just, there's a lot of different aspects of it. And it just grew into this thing. It snowballed. It literally was a snowball effect.
Yeah, I understand. You're
And
really
so
busy.
It just happened. And that's when I thought to myself, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah?
I enjoy it so
Did
much.
anything come to you as easy? Like, because like you were an entrepreneur. When you were an entrepreneur, was it ever this easy?
No, never.
Like, what? Give us an example. Give me an example of like what
Anything-
you had done before. Like what? Because I understand you're an extremely.
Well, I was a massage therapist for almost 10 years, 8 to 10 years. And it came to me. The work came to me. I'd never advertised. I put one yellow page ad
Was
out.
it at all the same?
I was successful at it because of word of mouth, and I was fairly good at it, so I was able to build a
Who
business.
doesn't want a massage?
So,
Right?
That was the only thing other than this that was good. But I got tired. I didn't want to do that anymore, traveling around. So I kind of got out of that. And but anyway, in my lifetime, most everything I've ever done, it just seems like it was a struggle. It was work. It was
So massage therapy, that felt like work?
no, that was the only. Well, physically, yes.
Yeah,
it
so
was
yeah.
physically draining.
So when you're a photographer,
it doesn't feel physically draining to me.
Doesn't feel like work?
It doesn't feel like work at all. As a matter of fact, if Chris is my assistant on my shoot, which
Hey.
I try to do all the time, I'm like, hey, you coming with me? Let's go. All he does is walk around with his little bag, and I'm like, all right, give me that lens. All right, give me this lens. And he
Oh
comes
my gosh.
along, and I'm like, where's my reflector? Can I get my reflector?
oh my
And
gosh.
so he's there, and he's my assistant, and it's fun, and he enjoys being there with me because I think he shares that passion.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
He's a very Chris Lito works with her, and they are
boyfriend and girlfriend. That's
yeah,
my
they're
boyfriend.
together. He worked with me. He was the director of photography on my film Syntax, and I'm the producer, and he is the director of photography. And I'm telling you right now, all he did that whole time, besides work, obviously, was go, Trina, where's my lens? Like, where's my bag? Hold this reflector. So I'm glad somebody's doing that to him. I'm glad.
Yeah.
So I need to take you to lunch or
He
something.
comes along. He's a trooper, and so he's my assistant, and on a lot of shoots. But I got so sidetracked just now. I don't remember.
Oh, I'm
exactly where I was
sorry. Yeah,
going
well,
with
no,
that.
we were just talking about Chris, but I know that you had met with him, and then you guys had started working on that, and you were saying that whenever you're on a shoot, you like to have him come with you, and that he carries your bag, and then you would say, hey, can you get this? Give me the lens or whatever. What made you realize? I mean, because like you were a filmmaker, right? And you were to help him. What were you doing with him?
Well, for a while, I kind of sat on the sidelines because I never wanted to step on anyone's toes, and but I would always have all these ideas and suggestions. But he and Sean Donahue started Reaper Films together, and so I didn't really know my place, and I didn't really want to step on toes. But I really enjoyed the filmmaking. I enjoyed being around it and the whole process of it, and so eventually, as we got closer, boyfriend and girlfriend, and we worked more and more and more together, which was great because not a lot of couples can do that. Not a lot of couples can work
tell
together.
me about it. I can't.
And so it was nice to be able to share that with somebody, and because if one does it and the other doesn't, they don't usually understand how it all works, and so it usually doesn't. It's difficult for couples a lot of times.
Like with filmmaking, or okay.
Well, that's all. For the most part, that's what I'm thinking is filmmaking. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of energy, and if you don't understand, it's kind of like drawing something. You start with this little bit, and then it builds into this big picture. And that's how filmmaking is. It starts as this little tiny thing, and the story, and then you have to make it happen.
Yeah.
You have to make it happen, and then it turns into
It's
this
such
big
an
picture.
incredible process, though. It really is. Now I know that you do photography now. Are you still in filmmaking?
And I've gotten more and more involved in it. And like I said, I enjoyed directing aspect of it, and a couple of projects that are coming up, and I have in the past too, is I've been first assistant director, and I actually did write a short film, directed it, edited it, all of that fun stuff. So I got my feet wet for the first time all on my own.
How was
pretty
it?
much. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I was only a couple actors, so I didn't have a whole lot to deal with. It was a controversial topic, so it wasn't a film that I really broadcast all that much. But I was just happy that I started.
What made you want to do the controversial topic?
It was different ideas pop in my head all the time.
I feel you.
I'll be in the bathroom at the movie theater.
Hi.
Came up with a movie. Chris is like, write it. I'm like, okay. And I don't, because I just don't take the time to write.
Right.
So, but it's there. It's still there, the idea. It's a horror film. And so, yeah. But things pop into my head. And this one in particular was a storyline in my head. And I liked it. It was a big, huge twist. And I'm a big twisty person. When it comes, the stories that I come up with, there's always a twist. It's never what you expect, ever. And so, not sure if there's anything behind that, but it's just how I am.
What could it mean? What do you think? Put it in the comments below.
So, those are the stories. And so this one, it just happened to be a controversial topic. And I saw it, I even did a Kickstarter or a Indiegogo campaign and raised a little bit of money, and basically that was it covered just a little bit, and I was going to enter it. I haven't entered it in any film festivals. It's been out there. It did have a premiere. It premiered at the premiere of Rough Cut, which is Reaper Films.
Oh, nice.
And
no, this was Desecration?
Desecrated.
Wow. Desecrated.
Yep,
Desecrated. So is it out anywhere where we could see it?
Mm-mm.
Hey, she's hiding it.
Yep. It's hidden. Big bucks. You want to see that, you're going to have to pay big. But yeah, so it's just, I think for me, it was just wanting to just get it.
It was you testing the waters. You put your little tootsies
once
in.
I did that and I directed it, and if I could get the actors to do what I got them to do, I'm pretty confident that I can direct a film. So.
Oh, I totally agree. No, I do. I am not just saying that. What are some of the obstacles that you've had to deal with?
Is in photography, just learning and understanding what I'm doing, but having the background. I keep going back to film because that's what I did first, but having the film background and the graphic design background, it just all ties together. I'm always on the lookout, when we're at a park, I'm making sure that I'm not getting the cars driving down the street in the background and things like that. So I'm always looking out for things that I notice on sometimes.
So you have an attention to detail.
Yes, I notice on other photographers, pages and things, they don't pay as much attention to things like that. And so I'm kind of a perfectionist. Yeah, I'm a perfectionist. So when I am doing it, and if I do sometimes I'll get something in there, even if it's a sign, I will edit the hell out of that and get it out. And
so what do you use for editing?
I use Photoshop for a lot of stuff, and then Lightroom, which is Photoshop Lightroom, which they just go hand in hand for photography editing, and so yeah, that's what I do.
Okay. So when as far as like what is your well, no, we already talked about your philosophy. So what are you doing now?
Well, now it's gotten to a point where I'm making a substantial amount of income from it. Not rich, but making a decent amount of money, and I just got a living. I just got to humbly. I just got to a point recently where I had to say, Chris is like, "You're charging too little. You're charging too little," and I'm like, "Well, I want to get the business too, and so I don't want to. I'd rather get volume." And, business-wise, entrepreneur-wise, and in many different businesses, you'd rather have volume. And so I'm like, well, and he's like, yeah, but your quality is worth more. And
right.
He's really been talking to me about your quality is worth it. You're worth it. You're worth it. And so it's taken me a while to really recognize that and say, hey, wait a minute. And, I look at my stuff and sometimes I just stare at it. I'm just like, wow, I can't believe that. Like this photo here that's on the table. This photo right here, I stare at all the time. Now this model, her name is Destiny Capella.
Okay.
And she is she's 15 years old, amazing girl. She's beautiful, and she's really fun to work with, really easy to work with. And that camera? Okay, this camera.
You
Anyway,
can't see it.
can you see it? So this particular model, it's just one of my favorite photos that I've taken. And, it's up, yay. So we got in the water. This is in October, and the water started getting cold. And on Honeymoon Island, I rolled up my shorts and got in the water, and we walked out to the rocks where the water crushed. That was fun. But I don't even, see, I get so sidetracked because I keep going. But
So what's your favorite part of photography?
I can't pick.
You can't pick?
No, because I enjoy doing the newborn photos. I enjoy maternity sessions, and I enjoy I haven't done a whole lot of weddings yet, but I have some coming up, and I can't pick one. I like working with models. I like product photography.
Okay, so then I'm just going to go ahead and ask. What was, and you don't have to use any names, the worst photography session ever? Because then I'm going to ask you the best.
Yeah, the worst one I had was on a rainy day.
Oh.
And I did a Living Social. I've used Living Social and I've used Groupon, which a lot of people are like, oh yeah. I liked it because
I like Groupon.
It got me business and repeat business.
Oh, absolutely.
So sure, they paid a little bit on this one, but the next one, and so that's how it works. So I met a lot of great people and I really enjoyed it. But I had this one that bought a Living Social. It was Living Social, and the day came and it was raining, and I sent a message and I said, look, when it's raining, I can't come because my equipment. Well, I kept my kids home from school. We need to do it this day. My husband's off from work. He doesn't have many days off, and I was like, okay, well. We're going to do it at my house, so if it rains, we won't be outside. We'll just go in the lanai or the screen porch. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So I get there, and I realize that I've left. This is humbling. I've left my camera bag at home.
Oh, hey.
Okay.
That's terrible.
Have not since then. Never will again.
Oh, absolutely.
But I left and so I told a fib. I didn't even want to tell her that I didn't leave that I left my whole camera at home. I just said, I left my battery at home and I got to go back and get it. I live right down the street.
A battery is a lot. It's understandable. Because, you got to plug those little suckers in, I'm just saying. So, but to say you forgot, yeah.
So
I think that was wise.
I was like, how as a photographer can I say I left my whole bag, my whole camera at home? And it was because I was so used to Chris loading it all up for me that I was on my own that day.
My gosh.
I blame him. It's all his fault.
That is awesome.
For not loading it up for me. No, I'm kidding.
How could you, Chris?
So anyway, so I get there and I go home and I get it, and this lady is very neurotically texting me, knowing I'm driving, going, where are you? And so I'm already stressed to the max.
Yeah, you bet.
Because I'm feeling like and so
like what?
A donkey. So I get back, and I'm, at this point, 45 minutes has passed, and, and it's raining, but it started raining 10 minutes after our session would have started anyway. So it had that part of it had nothing to do with me. Well, she's blaming me now for being late, that we could have gotten some photos done before it rained.
Which, technically.
And so I said, hey, look, I'm at fault here.
Yes.
Let's take what we can. We'll get what we can. You take a look at them, and if you find that you're not happy with this, I will redo the session on a sunny day, wherever you want.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, great, thank you.
Good. And
so I left. I uploaded the photos. She sends me a nasty message telling me she hates them all. I hate them all. And there were some good photos in there. Not all of them, but there were some good ones in there.
Yeah, things are maybe.
And so I'm like, okay, well, she goes, I would hope that you're going to offer your other session for me. And I said, of course, I told you that I would, so of course I will. So we set it up, and don't you know that day comes and it's going to rain. So I sent her a message in the morning, and I
Murphy's Law.
I said, it's scheduled to rain today according to the weatherman, and we can play it by ear. You never know. Sometimes at your time when we're going to meet, maybe it won't rain. So let's play it by ear. I'll message you throughout the day and let you know if it's raining, because she was going to come over to an area by where I lived, which wasn't far from her. But anyway, so she was coming towards me, and I said, I'll let you know how it is. throughout the day, I said, it's still not raining. Everything's good, blah, blah, blah. So 10 minutes before the session, I said, okay, I'll see you in 10 minutes. And she goes, oh, well, when you said it was going to rain, I made other plans.
Oh, hey.
So I'm like, well, I've been texting you throughout the day saying it's not raining. I'll see you in a little while.
Right.
And so it just was bad. It was a bad experience. And the whole time I was there with her, she was ridiculing her son. I've never heard a parent do this. She's like, why are you smiling like this? Don't smile like that. And she was really nasty. And, you know, I hate to talk bad about people, but that was a bad experience.
No doubt.
And I stayed professional. I tried to maintain. It was a bad experience.
So what was your best?
Some
magical experience. That bee on the flower is pretty magical. Anything close to that?
Is, yeah.
Anything close to that?
There really isn't. I mean, nature itself is just pretty amazing. And if I get beautiful days where I get enough sunlight and take great photos outdoors,
there you go.
I'm happy.
So it sounds like you just kind of got into photography because, you know, other people had seen your work and that they wanted to kind of get your eye on things. And then one thing led to another, and then that's what you've been doing. And you do, what, wedding photography? Mm-hmm. What else do you do?
Newborn, maternity, portrait, family portraits, headshots, senior photos, pretty much anything, commercial photography.
Oh, commercial.
I did have a big gig with Innisbrook Resort, too, at one point. I don't think they ever used my photos, though, which is really strange. But I think they had trouble downloading them and stuff, and it just was like a communication thing. But other than that, yeah.
Oh, hey.
But for some reason, I never saw any of the stuff on there, and they kind of stopped messaging me. But that was a great experience for me.
Yeah.
And
so do you like commercial photography more than people photography, or no difference?
It's really no different because it's all artistic.
It's all artistic?
Yeah, it's all artistic for me. It's about angles. It's about...
And is filmmaking the same as photography for you, or is one greater than the other?
I would say photography at the moment is a little bit stronger for me.
Because that's pretty much what you're doing the most right now.
Yeah, and you know, throughout my life I haven't had the easiest life for various reasons, and it's the first time that I truly feel appreciated.
Yeah.
Because when I take a photo, and whether I'm showing them on the camera or they're looking at them online, I have a 95% positive success rate.
Hey.
95.
Can't argue 95%, I'm just saying.
So, you know, of course there's bad ones in there, like the one I explained. That's in that 5%.
You cannot please everybody.
Oh gosh, no.
I mean, it wouldn't be realistic.
And,
it would be kind of, what do you call that?
But, you know, I do my best to make everybody happy, and I go out of my way. I stay longer half the time. I always bend over backwards. I do whatever I can. And
now, right now, so you have a website? Mm-hmm. Okay. And that's at Jennifer Lander Photography?
Nope. JenniferLander.com.
JenniferLander.com. That's even better. And then you also have a Facebook page?
Yep. And if you go to my website, you can actually get to it. So if you want to get to my Facebook page, it's Jennifer Lander Photography.
Okay.
And if you go to JenniferLander.com, there's a little link up at the top you can see Pinterest. I'm on all of them. Pinterest,
She's
Twitter.
so plugged into social networking. Why wouldn't you plug in?
Yes,
like, why not?
You have
Go check her out. Go check out her pins. Go check out her photos. Are you doing any specials right now?
Actually, next week I'm going to be launching a graduation senior photography special.
Oh my gosh, it's like right on time.
Yes. So you can go to my website, and you'll be able to find a link on there, and starting next week to find that special.
Okay. All right. So you got the Facebook page. Are you on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter.
You're
I don't
everywhere.
do a whole lot, but I'm there. I'm on them all. I tweet, I pin, I Facebook.
And just so everyone knows, next week we will have her other half, Chris Lito, on the show. He's a filmmaker and director, producer.
And you better talk about me just as much as I talked about you.
So if you want to see how the other half lives, check back with me next Thursday. Thanks again, Jennifer, for coming on my show and sharing how you got here. And if you're watching, thank you. And if you aren't already following me on Facebook, go to Art and Soul Trina Fallon. Thank you, and have a great night.
This program was brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization, setting the standard for new media broadcasting.